Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? Today I'd like to show you some of the items I picked up to add to my Friday the 13th collection. And there's a couple items here that I've wanted for a while. One of them is a book. And I got a couple of NECA collectibles, and I have a Holy Grail I'm going to show you guys at the end of the video. And I guess I'll just jump into one of the NECA collectibles that I picked up. And this is the Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning mask. And you can tell by the blue triangles on the mask that it was the Roy mask. Spoiler alert, the movie's over 20 years old. This was a Friday the 13th movie that didn't have Jason Voorhees as a killer. It had Roy, the paramedic, ambulance driver, was the killer. And I enjoyed the film. I thought it was really good. I like to pick these masks up when I see them. I think this is number 4 for me now. I have 4 different masks. I have them all packaged still. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I think for the moment I am going to keep them, at least for the near future. I'm going to keep these boxed up. But someday when I have them all, I'd like to display them somehow. But I like to keep them packaged for now, just to kind of keep the dust and stuff off of them. But this is a pretty cool little collectible, and you can see it has some kind of like, looks like it has wear on it, even though it's brand new and sealed. It looks like it's been beat up and worn out, and I really like the detail that NECA put into these. So that's the first collectible, the Jason Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. And then also I picked up from Toys R Us, I picked up the Part 3, the 3D lenticular box Jason figure, and this is my favorite Jason Voorhees from Part 3. He was played by Richard Brooker in this film, and I like that cover. It's made to look like the knife is coming out. It's hard to pick up on the phone, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. The lenticular doesn't move that much, but it still looks pretty cool. And that's my favorite look for the Jason character. Let's see if I can kind of show this without getting all that glare on there. Comes with some accessories here. In the upper left hand corner there's a bloody pipe wrench, and then right next to that there's a bloody knife. And then in the lower left here you have a pitchfork, which if you guys ever saw the movie in 3D, there's a really good scene with that pitchfork coming through, looking like it's coming through the screen at you. And then up in the upper right, if you can look in there, there's a kind of like a harpoon gun that shoots arrows. And down below you have an axe and a machete. And I just love that look with the kind of like that military style green coat, and then the jeans and the big black boots with the thick heels on them. I really like that character. And then that's what it looks like when you have them posed. And the box looks really nice on this one. And there you can see on the back some of it comes with 2 different heads. I think the second one here on the right, you can take the mask off, and it has the deformed face that you can see down here. I don't know if you can pick that up or not. It's not really focusing, but it's a really nice little figure, and I think it was pretty reasonable. It was under like 25 bucks, something like that, which I thought was a good price for these figures. And they come already, I mean, if you like to take your figures out of the box, you can, but they already come kind of displayed nicely like that. So I intend to keep it in the box. The next item I got here was something I had on my wish list for a long, long time. And this book has been out for, I think, about 10 years, 11 years now. And this is the Crystal Lake Memories. And it's always been around like the $40, $50, even $60 mark. I picked this up for $25 plus 5 shipping. So for 30 bucks, I was very happy to add this to the collection. And not only that, but I have the author, who is Peter Bracke, and the creator and the first director of Friday the 13th, Sean S. Cunningham. Oops, sorry about that. I have their signatures inside this book. And I'm going to kind of thumb through a little bit of it for you guys. It has a nice dust jacket. And there you can see Sean S. Cunningham's signature. And there's Peter Brackey's signature. And it's a really nice book. It has really nice thick pages. They're glossy. It has everything you would ever need to know about the series. And you can see Sean S. Cunningham. And from what I understand, Sean S. Cunningham he has plans to create a television series for Friday the 13th, as well as a game that's going to be coming out pretty soon. It was supposed to be out in October, but they pushed it back. But Cunningham is involved in both the TV series and the video game, so that's cool. And there you can see some stills. There's Adrian King from part 1. This thing is just jam-packed with info. Even if you're not the biggest fan of Friday the 13th, I think you would find some entertainment in this book. It's just jam-packed with photos and information, everything you'd need to know. There's a very young Kevin Bacon, played Jack, and he had a pretty brutal murder. And I was flipping through this earlier, and there was a pretty funny quote. I'm going to see if I can find it, from Kevin Bacon, talking about his death scene. And there's the headless body of Pam, who was Jason Voorhees' mom. There you can see her head gets chopped off. She was played by Betsy Palmer. Rest in peace, Betsy. I think you can see I'm not sure why my phone's not zooming in very well, but Tom Savini, there he is, looking like almost like a young Frank Zappa there. This was in 1980. And there was the very first Jason Voorhees, who was Ari Lehman. And there you can see the young Jason. After he drowned, he was kind of deformed. And there's Tom Savini. Really, really cool book. Shows some vintage posters. There's Sackhead Jason from part 2. Part 2 and 3 were directed by Steve Miner. There's a lot of Steve Miner interviews and stuff in here. There's Crazy Ralph. You're All Doomed. That was a really good scene right there. Sackhead Jason. There you can see the head of Mrs. Voorhees. There's Richard Brooker, played Jason in part 3. That's the figure I just showed you guys. There's Steve Miner right there. A couple of hippies smoking a big water pipe, bong, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not going to go through the whole book. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea. The book is over 300 pages. And right now we're on 90. So look at that's an awesome scene with Pam Voorhees coming out of the water all deformed. I believe that was the Japanese Laserdisc cover right there, and it was also a retro vinyl album. That was the soundtrack from 1982. Harry Manfredini, and there's some good gore there. And there's Tom Savini again. Now he's kind of looking like Dan Fogelberg. Tom Savini's great. And just to kind of show you guys a little comparison here, this was the Friday the 13th tin Blu-ray that came out a few years ago. And in this tin came a little, let me see, well, there's a little Crystal Lake Memories booklet that came with this set. Dropping stuff all over here. But here's the mini edition. This is like 30 or 40 pages, I believe, which is really nice. I mean, it was a beautiful addition to that set. And it just shows some of the things I showed you guys, but not, it's just kind of like a little sample size, but it's very, very nice. That Blu-ray set is one of my favorite sets in my collection. But this is the full Monty here. This is the big boy. And I could sit and go through this all day with you guys, but I know you don't have a lot of time. You don't want to be bored with pictures in a book. But here's Corey Feldman. I just love this series. I mean, it was a big part of my childhood growing up watching these. And there's Shamar Moore, or Shavar Ross, I should say. Remember that? Excellent special effects by Savini. Oops, that's latex, by the way, so I shouldn't get flagged for that. There is Roy, the ambulance driver, paramedic, and there's a quote down here. His name was Dick Weand. Yeah, he played Jason, and his quote is down here, "I didn't know anything about the series at all when I got the film. All the casting director said to me was, 'The children will love you.'" So that's the blue on the face there that I showed you on this mask here. The regular Jason has red for the triangles under the eyes. See if you can see here on this. Only Roy had the blue from part 5. Okay guys, something just happened to me that never happened before while I was recording video. It said my phone stopped recording, and it said that I had low storage in my phone, and it said I had to add space or remove stuff from my phone in order to keep recording. So I went through and I deleted a bunch of stuff that I had on here, some old videos and whatnot that I had. And hopefully this is working now. I don't want to have to record this all over again, but I was showing you guys the coffee table book for the Crystal Lake Memories, and I strongly recommend picking this book up. It's really good. Even if you're a casual Friday the 13th fan, this is a beautiful book to get. It's been out for a long time now, and on the back here it says the suggested retail price was $39.95 in the US and $44.95 in Canada. I got it for even less than that with 2 signatures on it. So I'm sure if you did a little poking around on eBay or Amazon, you could probably find this for a very good price. But pick this up and add it to your collection. And just to kind of recap, this was the smaller version of it that came in the Blu-ray tin that was released a few years ago, which I also recommend. Even if you're a casual Friday the 13th fan, that's a beautiful addition to get. It's really, really nice. It's a little pricey, but it's definitely worth it. Okay, so now we'll move on to the Holy Grail that I picked up. And before I show you that, and I'm just crossing my fingers that this is recording right now and working. So there's a website I want you guys to check out, and it's called horrorautographs.com. And I'm working with Spencer, who is the owner of the company. And he says if I get any of my viewers to go over and pick something out on his website, just go over and browse, check it out. You know, there's no strings attached. I don't have any affiliation with this company other than Spencer is now one of my buddies. He said if you put in Walnuts 10, you get 10% off and free shipping on any order. And he has everything over there from Walking Dead signatures to George A. Romero, Sid Haig, Rob Zombie stuff. I mean, there's everything over there. Go check it out. And this is what Spencer sent to me, and he gave me a really good price on it. This is Friday the 13th mask that is signed by 6 of the Jasons. And I'm going to go through and show you guys all the... He has pictures of each actor signing the mask. And Spencer has a lot of private signing parties, and he knows a lot of these guys, and he gets a lot of signatures. And he provides the actual photos of the actors signing the item that you pick up from him. And these are not cheap copies, these are actual photos. And they're one-offs, so you know he doesn't just photocopy these and send them off on every signature that he has. If I can get these out with one hand, and I can show you guys what I have here. There we go. Sometimes recording with one hand is very frustrating. You guys know how that goes. Okay. So here's a picture of Ari Lehman, who was the first Jason. He played Jason as a boy in part 1. And his signature is right here on the right. It says Ari Lehman Jason 1. And that's him signing it right there. And so you can see the back here. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up, but it's Fujifilm. The next one here is Steve Dash, who was Jason in part 2. He was Sackhead Jason. And here's Steve Dash right there, the real Jason part 2. There's a signature. This one is Ted White, who was in part 4. And sadly, I don't have Richard Brooker, and I never will because he's deceased now, but he was my favorite Jason. He was the character I showed you guys earlier. This was the Richard Brooker right here. But I'll never have Richard Brooker, but here's Ted White. And Ted White signed it right there, Jason 4. This one here is C.J. Graham, and he was in part 6. So C.J. Graham, Jason 6, right there. And you guys know who this is. He's probably the most famous Jason. That is Kane Hodder. And he was the first Jason to play multiple Jasons. He played in 7, 8, 9, and 10. And there's Kane Hodder right there. He signed a Jason 7, 8, 9 and Jason X. And here's probably my second favorite Jason, and this is the current Jason. That is Derek Mears. And Derek Mears played in the 2009 remake, or whatever you want to call it, reimagining, or there's Derek Mears, Jason, Friday the 13th, 09. And Derek Mears will be the second Jason to play multiple times. He's going to be playing in the new one that's coming out in 17. And then here's a couple little art cards that Spencer threw in, horrorautographs.com, where the slashers come to sign. horrorautographs.com. Here's another little art card here. This is his certificate of authenticity. And just to kind of show you guys the mask again, it's really cool. So if you go over to horrorautographs.com, there's no obligation. You guys don't have to buy anything. Just go over and check it out. But if there is something you see, something catches your eye, something you want to buy, put in Walnuts 10, and you get 10% off and free shipping. That was his idea, by the way, not mine. And he also threw in a little Funko Pop, which I also already own, but this one was open, so I'm going to probably put this on my desk. I have the other one still sealed up. I tend to keep all my toys and everything sealed and boxed up, but that's pretty cool. And he threw in some other goodies. Here's some, I think these are little art cards. These are all people that he had do signings in his shop, and that right there is the little girl from Walking Dead Season 1, they called her the teddy bear girl, I guess. She was in the, like, her little PJs, and she was behind like that gas station. In season 1, when Rick and Shane were kind of doing a little once through, kind of checking for survivors, and they see her, and then she's got that, half of her face was missing. And here's a Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding. And there's my boy Jason. And there's the tall man from Phantasm. And there's the, she's one of the freaks from Todd Browning's Freaks, I believe. Pepper. You know what? I think that's Pepper from American Horror Story. They call them pinheads. And there is George A. Romero, Night of the Living Dead. There's a couple other things on his website that I really like. He has original paintings that are signed by actors. There's a couple Jason Voorhees masks that are signed that I really like. Paintings of the masks. And he has a machete that's signed by the 6 actors here that he's had sign other stuff. And I'm just really happy with this mask here. I think it's awesome. This is probably one of the best pieces in my Friday the 13th collection. And, there's one more thing I want to show you guys that I got from my buddy Ryan. It was Blu-ray Lantern. He sent that a while ago, but it's one of my favorite pieces. I'm going to pause it here for a second and show you guys the original art that he gave to me. And there it is, the original art that Ryan made for me, and it's from the Freddy vs. Jason. And Sean S. Cunningham also was involved in this movie. He was the creator of the series and the director in the first one. And then he came back to, I think he did Jason X, and then he did, excuse me, he did Freddy vs. Jason. So I just think this is a beautiful piece, and I'm really glad to have this in my collection. But that was it, guys. I wanted to show you guys some of the items I added to my Friday the 13th collection. And thank you for watching. And I will catch you next time. Later.